would like to call to order tonight's Charter Township of Oxford Planning Commission regular meeting dated December 11th, 2025. We could start the meeting with respect to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Number 3 on our agenda, noting of tonight's roll.
Noted there is a quorum. Commissioner Blankenship and Commissioner Austin are excused.
Which means they will be nominated for things. So it works, right?
Yep.
All right. Number 4, approval of tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Just to note that it is an amended agenda because of the correction of the date of the petition to 25-009 and to add item 11C under new business 2026 meeting calendar. So I think Cheryl emailed it to everybody.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's reflected on, I believe, the one that's in the back. Okay. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second with the notations that Susan discussed. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries. Number 5, conflicts of interest, ex-parte contact. Anybody have anything they need to bring to the board? All right, seeing nothing. Number 6, approval of minutes, Planning Commission regular meeting, November 13, 2025.
Motion to approve minutes. Planning Commission regular meeting November 13, 2025.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries as well. Number 7, public comments on items not scheduled for public hearing or on tonight's agenda. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to address anything not on our agenda or for public hearing?
I would like to ask if the zoning on the property on Oakwood Road for the gas station.
That's the agenda for tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, we'll move to 8, commissioners' comments. Anybody have anything they would like to discuss, bring up, mention?
I have one comment.
Sure.
So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, safe travels.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All right, moving on to number 9, petitions. Petition PC 25-009, Petitioner, Pampalona Companies, 850 West University Drive, Suite D, Rochester, Michigan, 48307. Public hearing. The petitioner is proposing the development of an auto convenience mart and auto service station, commonly known as a gas station. The uses are special land uses in our light industrial zoning district, I-1. The project is proposed to be located on 2 adjacent properties along North Lapeer Road, M24, at Oakwood Road intersection. Parcel ID 0404353009 and 0404353010. The properties are zoned I-1 and are 1.9 and 2.4 acres, 4.34 acres combined. Just so that everybody has an idea of how we'll conduct this, what we'll do is we'll begin with information from our planners, and they'll go through all the information, all the updates, everything they have for us. Then we will do a presentation by the petitioner. We will open the public hearing. Any public testimony, we'll then close that public hearing. We'll get any more comments from our township consultants and team. We'll review any correspondence that may have come in. The commissioners With that, I will start with you, sir.
Good evening, Mateo Pasalapua, Carlisle Warren Associates with the Township Planning Consultants. So as the chair had indicated tonight, we have a preliminary site plan and special land use site plan in front of us to construct a gas station over 2 parcels located on the northeast corner of Oakwood Road and M24. Give me another primary page on the site plan here. I'm going to make it easier sooner. There we go. Okay. Looking, so commonly known again, auto convenience mart, auto service station is the way ordinance that designates these uses, but it's essentially a gas station. Both parcels are vacant, zoned industrial light or industrial 1/light industrial, and will need to be combined prior to permits being issued for improvements. As you would say, when the lots are combined, they'll equal 4.34 acres. Our review is conducted as if those lots had been combined. The building is proposed to be 77,330 square feet, and the site proposes to offer 12 domestic gas pumps and 4 commercial diesel pumps. So for zoning, the master plan, future land use map designates the site as suburban commercial. The description for suburban commercial is that it includes sites for existing or future commercial development compatible with the character of traditional shopping centers dedicated to multi-tenant retailers. To reduce the dominance of front yard parking, buildings should have a strong relationship with the sidewalk and road. Parking should be evenly provided between front and side yards. Suburban commercial areas should primarily serve the day-to-day shopping and servicing of township residents, and such large format retailers, aka big box users, and regional shopping centers should be carefully regulated. The site is surrounded by I-1, SF2, and R3 zones. Uses are light industrial and or vacant sites for the surrounding parcels. When looking at like area, width, height, and setbacks for the building placement, we found no issue with setbacks or building heights. For natural resources, the site has no wetlands and is clear of any major woodland clusters. Looking at access and circulation, 2 access points are proposed, one from M24, the other from Oakwood. Both are right turn ins, right turn outs. MDOT will need to approve of the M24 access, and RCOC will need to be responsible for approval of the Oakwood Road access. A traffic study was included in the application and dated August 19th, 2025. It highlights that the Oakwood M24 intersection operates at a C and F level. It highlights that Plexus Drive and Oakwood Drive or Oakwood Road intersection operates at a B, A, and B levels. The site is anticipated to generate 100 new trips at both peak AM and PM travel times. The study recommends a traffic light at the M24 Oakwood intersection and a right-hand turn lane into the site from M24. The right-hand turn lane in from 24 has been incorporated. The traffic light is not. A safety path is shown along Oakwood Drive, but not M24. Per this, the applicant will need to either incorporate the safety path into the final site plan or request waivers from the Safety Path Committee, Planning Commission, and Township Board. For parking and loading, parking counts are satisfied. However, the PC will need to approve the 18-foot deep parking spaces as opposed to 20 feet deep. You recall we did this with all deep. So we will need to make that consideration this evening. They are proposing 6 EV charging stations along the south elevation of the building, right in this area. They've given us general information. There's a new part of our ordinance, so they will need to give us additional information before they get final. But for now, just the general information provided shows that they're likely in compliance. We just need a few more technical pieces of information to fully put them in front of you for consideration for approval. Looking at service and utilities, the site is outside of the water and sewer district, so wells and septics are proposed. General information provided on the fire pump and emergency supply So included in the packet this evening, you get my review, the fire department, and sheriff engineering review. The fire department does have some concerns with the life safety infrastructure that's going to be required on the site. I do know the applicant and the fire department have been in constant communication about it. I was in communication with the marshal about it to just ensure, with what you have so far and what you've heard from them in the conversation, are you okay with this going to preliminary? He said yes. His big thing was if they can't, if they can't make me happy by final, then they don't come in front of you, which we would hold them to anyways. So there are some concerns outlined in the letter, but I do understand that there's been some pretty consistent communication on how we'll address those once we get to final. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I gotta start over. You're fine. For landscaping, all planting counts and locations meet the standards. The site does offer bike racks and outdoor patio seating. A commercial kitchen is proposed on the interior of the building. So again, you kind of, I'm sure when we go through the packet, you can see that they're looking to offer some commercial kitchen amenities on site for anybody utilizing the convenience market portion of it. You cannot operate a restaurant with outdoor seating as a principal use in your industrial districts. However, your industrial districts do allow for use as accessory to the principal use. Seeing as how this is becoming, it's been a common occurrence in larger format convenience stores throughout the area. We just noted that as it's proposed, that commercial kitchen and outdoor patio area could function as an accessory function of the site, but it could not be increased in any way, shape, or form. So they could not come back with an indoor seating or want to make the outdoor patio bigger or want to expand the commercial kitchen or bring in another commercial kitchen. What they have here now, we're comfortable with finding as accessory. It just means you can't make it any more intense. So that was part of the second. Again, I think overall, given the area, on the industrial businesses in that area, it probably will offer an amenity of lunchtime traffic and things of that nature. But again, it just can't become the dominant use of the site. When we were looking at signage, again, signage is administratively approved by the township, but we did note a few items in the site plan as shown with unique variances as it relates to the monument sign height and the potential for building signage depending on how much and where. Again, if that's the case, they'll go through township review and then they'll end up in front of the ZBA if indeed variances are needed. For lighting, all the lighting standards have been met. The only update that we need is there's an OA specified light fixture where they didn't give us the Kelvin temperature, so we just need to ensure that it's 3,500 Kelvins in order to be in compliance. Other than that, lighting met standards. For architecture, the exterior materials proposed for the building are brick veneer, walnut colored siding, capstone, EFIS, metal roofing, and coping and wood finish accents. The bump canopy will be finished with metal paneling and brick tech columns. The zoning ordinance, you don't have specific architectural requirements when it comes to permitted uses. You do have a little bit of language in your special land use standards, which we'll look at, but essentially the building's design is, I guess, saying it's complementary to the area is kind of tough because there's not a lot up there, and what is up there is industrial warehousing, so I don't think you want to complement that. But the design is, it offers a lot of varied architecture, neutral colors, things of that nature. So again, being a special land use, you have your general special land use standards and then your specific standards. We'll go through the general ones first and the specifics afterwards. Again, I will paraphrase the standards as we go along. Once I get to the end, if you have questions, we're going to clarify how to do so. So the first general standard is compatible with adjacent land uses, designed to be harmonious in character, not hazardous or disturbing to existing uses, and an improvement to the property and vicinity. Our comment to this was the design offers varied articulation of colors. The use is consistent with location along a major thoroughfare. Services local truck traffic and is not bordered by any residential uses. It's consistent promotes the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance and applicable codes, again, with the exception of some of the items we know that need to be addressed, it does fall in line with your requirements. The use must not pose an unreasonable impact on the environment. No wetlands or major woodland clusters are on site. Permitting of the underground storage tanks is regulated through the state, so they will have to jump through all of the hoops as it relates to all the different departments that get involved in gas stations, from the health department to the state, so on and and so forth. Proposed use must be compatible with public service capacities. Again, we kind of talked about the fire department and their concerns, so that is some work they'll need to do between preliminary and final, but otherwise there were no service concerns for the site. The proposed use must be consistent with access and circulation standards. So these, again, with the exception of some items noted in our report, which I'll get to in a few minutes, here are some specific special land use standards for gas stations as it relates to access that they will likely need to go to the ZBA for, but beyond that, the other access requirements that you have, they've met. The use is designed, located, planned, and operated with health, safety, and welfare in mind. Again, other than the items listed by the fire department, we cited no major issues with the health, safety, welfare element of the project. The use is consistent with the goals, objectives, and future land use map. So I'll kind of go through some different items in the master plan as it relates to uses like this in the area. The site does not require utility expansion or investment into an area outside of the primary or secondary service boundaries. So within the master plan, you have some areas that you define as to where you're willing to have infrastructure be expanded and where you're not. They're outside of that area, but they're not asking for utilities to be expanded their way if you can go on site with those. The site is void of major natural features and outside of the proper agency approvals. Again, the element of natural preservation, this isn't an asset wooded lot or a wetland. They're really just taking vacant land and developing it. The site proposes commercial use along M24 that will serve residents and visitors. Again, up there you have a little bit of a convenience desert. Businesses up that way don't necessarily have a business like this currently to access. More from the convenience element of it, you do have gas stations in the township, I'm sure you're aware. The site is designated as suburban commercial in the master plan future land use map, which again speaks to bigger box development, but it is not uncommon for uses like this to be outlot developments within those developments themselves. And then a safety path extension is provided along Oak Road and is required along M24. However, the pedestrian access to this area in general is limited. So just as it relates to some of the bigger points in your master plan and the things to consider, these are kind of what we've offered up for your consideration. When we look at specific special land use standards, again, I'll paraphrase the standard, and if you have any questions at the end, I'm going to answer those. The facility shall not be within 500 feet of a school. That standard is met. Minimum lot area of 1 acre with at least 150 feet of frontage and ample space for vehicle maneuvering or stacking. That standard has been met. Access points are no less than 50 feet from intersections or residential properties. That standard has been met. Curb cuts shall be placed so as not to create hazards. Again, MDOT and RTOC have reviewed and kind of unofficially approved of where they're planning to cut into those roads. Driveway for egress shall not be wider than 30 feet of the property line. So this standard has not been met. Those curb cuts are allowed to be 30 feet wide at the property line. Right now, they're showing 37 feet for the right turn in from M24, and then I believe it's also 37 from Oakwood. We know that they'll need a variance for the access point at M24. For Oakwood, they still may or may not need it. When they work with our COC right now, that property line at the southern end goes right into the middle of Oakwood. So typically when projects have the old school property lines that cut into the actual road, the county will work with the applicant to negotiate right away so that they actually now have their clear 60 feet. So depending on where they end up with our COC on that could change whether or not they need a variance or how much of a variance they need. I don't know if you can see here that this 56 feet, I'm assuming you're showing that with right of way dedicated. Right. So if right of way is dedicated, then the variance that they'll need for the Oakwood access will be 56 feet instead of 30. So we'll figure all that out after tonight, but just so you guys know, this 37 foot right here and this 56 right here are the two variances that they'll need for access. And it's a special land use dimensional requirement, but the ZBA can hear dimensional variances for special land uses as well. Pump island shall be a minimum of 25 feet from the right of way, and canopy shall be at least 15 feet setback from the right of way. That standard's been met. outdoor sales are prohibited. So that standard's been met. As you're aware, we have recently modified the ordinance to allow for a certain amount of outdoor display and sales. So that's something that might change at final, but for right now, they're not showing any. There's a lot of standards that kind of follow it with, auto maintenance, towing, outdoor storage of vehicles. They're not going to be providing any vehicle maintenance on site, so none of those standards are applicable. For the architectural design shall be harmonious with surroundings, include brick, stone, wood, and other masonry materials as we discussed. They are including a lot of these materials in the design. And I would say that there's a certain level of harmony in the essence that it is North Carolina 24 kind of highway setting that would have these types of uses along it. Canopies have a minimum height of 12 feet and a max height of 15 feet and utilize similar materials as the primary structure. Canopies offer 15 feet of clearance and do utilize the brick veneer along the bases of all of the supports. No outdoor electric sound or announcement systems are proposed. An oil water separator with monitoring capabilities may be required. They are proposing a mechanical oil water separator to be proposed. Separation shall be made between pedestrian and vehicle pathways. We do know that there is landscaping that separates most, if not all, or divides pedestrians from vehicles on the site, kind of vehicle belts or landscaped areas. And there's no vehicle sales being proposed, so those standards would be applicable. So, in summary, the waivers you have in front of you this can be considered is to allow the 18 feet of parking spaces of the 20, and then the planning commission will determine the proposed parking. Oh, my apologies. The way that your parking looks at the diesel pumps is that technically that could be seen as 6 parking spaces, because they're right at the parking allowance count. They're proposing that they be counted as 4 instead of 6 because it's not uncommon for the larger commercial vehicles to pull between 2 pumps and fill both tanks simultaneously. So they are asking that in their parking count consideration, that those pumps be considered 4 diesel pumps, not 6 diesel pumps. So that is a waiver for you this evening. Even if there was a concern with that, you have the ability to waive certain things. So kind of one way or the other, they're requesting a waiver for this evening. And then the potential conditions that we laid out is approval required from MDOT for access to 24, approval required from our COC for access to Oakwood Road, approval required from the Oakland County Health Department for the design of well and septic, approval from the state of Michigan for underground tanks, any items set by Township Public Safety, any items set by Township Engineering, additional information required to confirm EV parking stations meet the requirements of the ordinance. OA light should be adjusted to 3,500K. Restaurants with outdoor patios are not permitted in the Highland District. No changes may be proposed to the site that would dedicate more square footage to indoor or outdoor seating or increase the cooked or options offered at the site. The lots will need to be combined prior to development of the site. The applicant will need to apply for payment in lieu for the safety path required along M24. They either add to the plan or request a waiver from the Safety Path Committee and Planning Commission. Applicant must obtain all necessary variances from the zoning board of appeals prior to final site plan submission. So that if they were to receive approval this evening, their next step will be the ZBA. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
With regards to the commercial kitchen piece of it, when you say it can't be expanded, how did you determine what was there is accessory? Is it based on square footage relative to the building, or is there something else?
Yeah, square footage is kind of where you start.
Yeah.
And looking at the floor plans, again, looking at the area that they had dedicated to the kitchen itself, looking at the area that they had for indoor seating. I don't believe there were spaces dedicated to indoor seating. I can look up in a second. And then the outdoor patio, it was just kind of as designed, it was accessory. There's more square footage dedicated to the operations of the gas sales and convenience sales that there is in the kitchen and areas where people could potentially sit down and eat.
Okay, so that was how it was sort of.
Correct.
Okay.
I'd like to ask some questions about the diesel truck area. You show two trucks here. What if there's two more that come in and want to fill up? Where do they go? Very familiar with this part of the township and the fact that it's not your problem today and it can't be or won't be your problem going forward. But down here on Oakwood Road, there's industrial facilities from other companies along here. They're very limited or at zero as far as parking when they bring truckloads of material and stuff in. So in here, if you're driving this way on Oakwood Road, you're fighting against some of these semis that are parked on the road. And due to the fact that the road is a hill that you've got to go over, you may be guessing whether you have clear distance or not. I would hate to see your gas station come in and end up putting more trucks in this area for parking. And so I'd like to know if we got enough space in here that we could put two more that are waiting in line, or even some other way of parking trucks so that they do not get out onto Oakwood Road.
It's okay because the planning commission, if you guys can have them come up after Jim.
Yep.
I'll just ask them to keep notes on the things that you're
Right.
asking.
Okay.
That is a concern. I live in this area and drive through here quite a bit, and I don't want to see that particular issue expand.
Sure.
I have no problem with diesel trucks being in and getting full of gas, but just where they set in between.
Does anyone just want to see if there's any questions for me?
I have a few materials, that's okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were talking earlier about the dimensions, where they wanted a variance.
Yeah.
Can you go through that one more time? What I'm wondering is what does the dimension in the variance say, and then how much variance are we looking for? Like, is it 5 feet or is it?
Yeah. No, that's fair. So for the drive accesses, this drive coming in here at the property line, its width is 37 feet. The ordinance says it can be no wider than 30.
No more than 30?
Correct.
Okay.
And then this one down here, once they dedicate right away to Oakland County, their property line will be here. And at that point, they're 56 feet wide. And again, the ordinance is 30. In trying to assess that 30-foot standard, it's completely speculative on my part. Only what I can say is that I believe the intention of limiting how wide those drives can be is if maybe you might be familiar with some of the older truck stops off the freeway where you turn off the freeway and there's the truck stop and it is curb cut for 300 feet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's as far as the eye can see because it runs the whole span of the property. Sometimes they put these restrictions in there to make sure that doesn't happen. They have safe pedestrian access. I will say the 30 feet wide for a 53-footer to turn in clear and not hit the curb and start screwing up the grass is tight.
Yeah, it seems like in this layout, this proposed layout of them 24, it gives them more room to make a right turn to get to those pumps.
Correct. So that's the dimensional variance that we'll need there.
And building off of the other commissioner's comments about Oakwood, is there, coming off of Oakwood, is there an opportunity in that 30-foot dimension, that drive right there? Perhaps, could that be a staging area? I don't know if that would help with that situation, if that would give them a spot to pull in and maybe stage and wait.
Like I said, I'll,
Yeah, sure.
that's-
I thought I would just build off
No,
of
no,
that
yeah,
a little bit so that they could address it. Thank you. A couple more things, Mr. Chair, if it's okay. The outside patio being asked. There's no
The items in question I can't speak to. I don't believe that we've been in receipt of an application for a liquor license for the site.
I was just thinking, that could be a concern potentially to people outside drinking.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the applicant can speak to the intentions of the convenience store.
The 18 to 20 foot for the parking space, or 20 to 18 foot, because it overhangs the curb. I think we talked that not really being much of a problem there. I didn't get into the fire chief's comments much, but I don't think there's a concern about distance from electric vehicle charging to gas station pumps in any of our. I noticed there was a section reference, but I haven't dug into that section about if the fire department had a concern with that.
I don't recall the fire department study concern with that.
Okay. Seems like there's space separation.
Yes, the charging stations are standalone from the building. They're not attached to it.
Right. A few months ago, we talked about gas stations like this having outside storage for things for sale. Is that probably that could be entertained in this arrangement based and meet the ordinance?
Yeah, it could be entertained to final. So that language was approved by the board at last night's meeting.
Last night's reading was made.
Yeah, so it will be effective in approximately 3 weeks.
Okay.
So between that time, if they come back and final with something, we can apply those standards to the proposal.
Okay. So around this perimeter of the site, they could potentially.
Yeah, the language accounts for front and side facades and a percentage of coverage per all, for whichever one they propose.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any future questions? Okay, I think we are good, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
We just don't ever see him that often, so we want to.
Engineering consultant. I am going to be short because so much of our review has been covered. I mean, from an engineering perspective, we're looking at the infrastructure as a preliminary site plan stage, and other than what's already been presented, they did provide a preliminary grading plan, so everything seems to be draining properly and so forth. With regards to the sanitary sewer, again, Oakland County Health Division needs to approve the septic system that's going to be out there. There is no public sanitary sewer anywhere nearby. Same with the water, no public water main, so they'll need permits from the Health Division again. Stormwater, again, we're happy with what they provided to us up to this point. You can see on their plan here that they have a mechanical filter for the stormwater treatment, so they know that they're going to have to do that. We'll work through that with them. See, there was a dedicated fire protection well that they're going to be putting down there as well for the fire chief. So we'll leave that up to the chief, but they will have, the ability to put out a fire there. They don't have to pump with water. They have a separate domestic well, which is proposed up in the northwest part of the property. And then again, regarding all the pavements and the sidewalks and the curbing, I'm not going to reiterate what the details are indicated regarding the safety path or the potential waiver for that. And then the spaces going from the 20 to 18, as long as we have a 7-foot sidewalk behind us, so people still have 5 foot to walk in case they overhang, or on the north end where it's overhanging along the area. This commission has approved those types of things in the past. Yeah, there's some items. I mean, there is a red line drawing in there, but again, this is more to assist the developer as they move through the process into the engineering phase with some comments that we had regarding the thicknesses of the asphalt and so forth. Overall, I'm like I said, I'm keep it really short. Most of this has been hammered out, and if you have any questions, I can answer those right now.
Any questions?
No, thank you.
All right.
I think we're good.
Yep.
convenience store. You see a photograph on the slide that's in front of you. From the 19 Mile and Mound store, I believe, in Sterling Heights. And so I wanted to include those in the presentation. Sometimes a picture speaks 1,000 words, and you can kind of see the quality of work that they do. We also have Kevin Brandon with us this evening. He's the architect and landscape architect. Our group has worked together on literally dozens of gas stations for this applicant. I won't belabor the point because Mr. Pasalacqua and Mr. Sharp did a great job of kind of teeing up all of the specifics of the job. So we're here to answer any questions that you might have. Commissioner Turner, there is a plan in the plan set on sheet C5 that shows the truck turning radiuses. We've got plenty of room on this site for trucks to be able to maneuver out from the pumps, circle all the way around the site, stage up into some of the driveways temporarily, loop back around even with the right in, right out to be able to kind of wait and circle back around. So there's plenty of room. This is a fantastic sized site. We've done several of these that were 1 and 2 acres that are very difficult. This is a 4+ acre site, new build. So it's a lot of these are renovations of existing gas stations, but we call it the canopy shops, where we're just sort of changing the configuration of the pumps. This is new build, so we're able to really do our best on truck turning and being able to accommodate the types of concerns that you raised. So I wanted to speak to that a little bit. Vito's built several of these. He can give you all the details of the tanks and the filters and the reporting to the state and all that kind of good stuff if you're interested. So we're here to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you. Oh, I also wanted to show you a couple of the other slides. Not that there's any great information on here that you haven't already heard, but you can see some of the photos. These are actual. These aren't just stock photographs. These are photos that we designed, Vito built, Kevin designed the buildings, and you can see they're first class architecture, first class construction, first class maintenance. Marathon has very strict requiremments to be able to keep your branding. So they have secret shoppers come in and make sure everybody's wearing their uniforms, making sure that the sites are clean. And so those things the utility oil company adheres to strictly, or it would really put a cramp on their business because they lose the branding, lose their ability to be a marathon station. Regarding alcohol, there's not any alcohol served on the premises. You can see in this photo that I have up now, there's will be beer for sale, beer and liquor that are for sale, but not to be consumed on the premises. So you can't order a margarita and sit in the patio while you're charging your car. So I just wanted to address those few questions that were out there, and again, we're available to answer any others that you might have. Okay. Thank you.
I have no questions.
One of the questions I had there, you have a picture that shows the trucks turning, but it looks like it's a different layout of the building, where it would look like the pumps are on the north side of the building and the trucks would circle around back. Is that just a different layout, or?
It should be sheets C5, same layouts. The diesel pumps are all ready. My pointer doesn't show up on the screen. Okay. Oh, my mouse will. So the diesel pumps are here. So right in, you go to that C5 sheet, you'll see that we've got turning radii to be able to show how a truck can circle around the different ways around. It shows the turning radii over here and being able to circle back around. So once you come in, the cars and the diesel are separated through here. The C stores here with parking, convenient parking out front, and then overflow parking over here. And all those truck turning templates that we use on C5 will show that we're able to do it. But it's the same layout that you see in front of you. This is the exact same plan that you have in your package. I just like to kind of color them up because they kind of pop a little bit clearer as to what we're trying to do. And I usually highlight some of the issues. You can see the 3 and and so, and there's a little bit of separation, by the, on the island itself, that prevents you from being able to turn left there. So it all depends. It's not really 100% clear in your ordinance exactly how you measure that at the right-of-way line, but I wanted to bring to your attention exactly the geometry that I was looking at. You know, each one of those, you know, are approved by the jurisdiction that will grant us access. So on a preliminary basis. So we went to PennDOT, we worked out exactly what they wanted, what they would require for this type of use at this type of location, what kind of driveway, and that's why we show here the full right turn lane starting here, coming out, turning into the site. The fact that we got it right in and right out only, along with that lane, you know, continuing on. So this is the existing road here, existing road edge is right along this line here. So this is all new pavement in here, so somebody can turn out of traffic and follow that in. Same with this. This has already been, excuse me, presented to the county for the right in, right out, for their blessing on the configuration of both of these driveways. So the reason that we're asking for these requirements is not simply because we have a preference or that we gain some additional benefit from it. We've already cleared this geometry with the governing jurisdictions that have control over those, and that's why we're asking for the variances there.
Okay. So the drawing, the one that I'm looking here is page 70 in our packet. It has the pumps on the north side, and it looks like there's two entrances in where the trucks could come in, fill up, and then circle around behind the building.
Let me get the circulation sheet up.
Page 70 of the packet.
70?
70 of 278. That one. See, it's showing the pumps on the north side where the trucks are pulling off 24, be able to fill in and circle around behind.
Yeah, so that one's been, so the traffic study that's incorporated, it's utilizing this site. Okay. So this is not the segment that they're proposing.
Okay.
This is associated with the traffic study from August.
Once the traffic study was done, we then went back and changed the entire site plan to be in compliance with the actual traffic study.
Okay.
So you'll notice if you see the second entrance up by where the diesel, we eliminated that because the main reason was that we didn't want people jumping across the highway to get into that left turn lane there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And yeah, on that road. So that was one of the reasons. So that was the traffic study. They MDOT looked at the traffic study, they made recommendations, and we made changes as a result of that, and that's what's in front of you tonight.
Okay.
So this is the circulation.
I can find my kind of tool around, but this circulation.
Yeah, so you can see here, so this would be the, I'm sorry, this would be the truck template here, and you can see a truck turning in here. Can you make all of these turns? These truck templates all show, you know, the truck specified next to the turn template about the routes that they can take, and you can see there's several different trucks with several different routes. Here's like a dump truck, and that can come in here, come all the way around and make all of these turns. It can actually turn right there and do a 180 in that area, in that turning area. So for us, so we to do the truck turning circulation, we have to specify what the truck is, what the turning radius is, and then show paths that they can make it around. And so we've got 4 or 5 of those on this sheet. Here's a big rig, you know, coming in. It can get over to the side. This is where the tanks are. We can go over to the side and it can make this turn. So we don't have to guess about whether or not a big rig can come into that far pump and then still make the right turn to get out of it. These truck turning templates allow us to assess that accessibility of each one of those different vehicles.
Okay. And there's no overhang or canopy or anything that would prohibit like a ladder truck for the fire department to completely circle that building.
No, so the canopies, if I go back to the PowerPoint,
And
So the engineer that designed this site that works out of our shop, we have 65 employees, about 40 engineers. So the gentleman, Chad, that designed this one has been in contact with the fire chief. And so we had originally proposed like one well with a booster and a fire department connection that was over on the corner over here. And the chief said, no, that's not what I want. I want a separate dedicated well. So we've agreed to put a fire protection well here. And they looked at all the different places on the site to get rid of the fire department connection because when my guys come to fight a fire, I don't want them being that close to the fire, you know. So he looks at where they're going to be able to hook up their hoses, what their hose lengths are, and so this configuration with these additional notes on it today are in compliance with the chief's requests from us. And as you see from his review, he recommended approval subject to his notes, and then we'll work out the exact details of all the engineering of each one of those items during the final site plan.
Any
Sure.
other
I have a
questions?
question.
Go ahead.
I get the 56 foot on the Oakwood ingress and egress piece of it on the Lapeer ingress. So you knew in advance that we had this 30-foot limit,
Yes, sir.
but yet you designed it for 37. So what drove that?
Well, so those are for the MDOT configuration. So there's a conflict between what MDOT requires and the restrictions for Oxford Township. So that's why there's a variance there. We try to get as close as we possibly could because I've been to many ZBA meetings, and one of the criteria is always, is this the minimum variance necessary?
Gotcha. Okay.
And so that's why those are.
All right. So you're driven then by MDOT.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Any last questions?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
a couple more, sort of back to the truck again. I realize that this adventure lane is a private road, not part of yours, but have you folks given any consideration to seeing if you could use this to bring your vehicles back out and eliminate the effort of doing this? Or could you widen this so that on truck number 5 I can come in, I can sit here until the pump opens and I can move it?
Widening it, yes, that would be a possibility. Access, no. I think that's where most of the topo is on the site, but also, as you mentioned, it's a private road, so we really don't have any kind of by right.
I didn't know whether maybe you could talk to the owners of the adventure lane.
Well, we have in fact talked to that property, but it wasn't with regard to sharing the road. So they've got plans as well, and our site, we coordinated our entrance with theirs, because they're going to have a culvert that ends right at that driveway that we're going to end up building a structure over and continuing that culvert underneath our driveway, essentially that ditch on Oakwood.
Yep.
The ditch on Oakwood will be essentially enclosed. So, and I do have a set of their plans with me this evening, but yeah, so our engineers have been working with their engineers to make sure that our improvements are coordinated. But as far as cross-access, no, sir, we did not investigate that.
Okay.
I guess that's all the questions. Anybody have any? Okay. All right. We will move to opening the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second to open the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is open. all discussion is directed to the chair, not to the applicant or consultants. No person will speak the second time until everybody that wishes to be heard is spoken. So with that, would anybody like to address the committee? Please, come up to the podium.
Thank you for having this hearing. My name is Susan Kinsman. I live at 5622 Eastview Lane, Rochester, Michigan. I understand that I saw this in the paper, and my concern is, in my opinion, is the last thing that we need on M24. If we count the amount of truck traffic that we have, with the amount of deaths that we've had due to truck traffic on M24, and we have already between Oxford and I-69, we have 5 gas stations. So there is no shortage or a real need to have another gas station. It's really not a gas station, it's a truck stop. So I personally am opposed to this type of a development there. I don't think this kind of business is an asset to the community. Oxford's had a lovely concerted effort on your part and everyone's part with the Waterstone development and with some of the other developments that I personally don't think that this would be an asset. And I do share concerns about there's not enough. I know it's probably a very inexpensive parcel, but I don't think that this kind of an endeavor is right for our community.
Thank you very much.
I was hoping there would be more people here, but
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would like to explore what would be the projected revenue of this business and what benefit would it bring to us? So what is the proposed benefit? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. With that, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So, motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. The public hearing is closed at 19:26. At this time, we'll take any last comments from the consultants and team. Nothing. 6, review correspondence, which I don't believe we received.
Apparently Cheryl got an email, but she does not have her laptop home to forward the email.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure exactly. It says there's one letter opposing the Red Barn project that is not in the packet from the owner of the self-store. Is there a storage?
There's some
storage facility that says that it will block his business and cause it to go out of business. So,
Okay.
just for the record.
Okay. All right. Number 7, we will move to commissioner discussions. And any questions? Start down on the end here.
Just, I think, this will help give the Myers gas station a little bit of competition since it's only about half a mile down the road. So I see that as a positive. And given this piece of land too, the fact that it does look like a really nice building, and I think this probably is a good use for that piece of property since the way it's configured out there, it was hard to imagine anybody would find good use for it. So actually, I'm pretty impressed that they did what they did with it for this convenience mart. So
Thank you.
as has already been mentioned, the size and shape of the piece of property is going to restrict who has a desire to come in and do something.
Yeah.
And I think from that standpoint, this is probably as good a use of that piece of land as you're going to have. And the other aspect, if you look, there are residents around to the north and to the west side of 24. There is a subdivision up in that area. There aren't any convenient mart or whatever you want to call it, where you can go in and buy pop or something that way. There's nothing like that in that area. You have to go back south, basically to the Meyer area before you run into somebody that would provide that feature. So if we're going to have something there, I think this is a good application for that.
Thank you.
No comments, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I would echo what everybody else has said. I think it's a good location. I think it's it's going to be a benefit. Like Mr. Turner said, during business hours, most times when you drive up there, there's a line of trucks that are waiting to be unloaded. This will provide somewhere for these guys to go grab a quick lunch while they're waiting for their truck to unload. You've got a lot of manufacturing and things like that where, lunchtime you're going to have, quite a bit of business coming in for that convenience. So I think it's a good use. The only question I have, and I think you touched on it, but I don't remember, is about whether there'll be safety paths or whatever running through there. And I thought I heard something about a possibility of a traffic light being put up or potentially going up. Is that
I mean, the safety path that they are providing is not a word. They're requesting a waiver for 124.
because there really is nothing else there to be sidewalk nowhere.
I mean, here's what I'll say, because we are also working through a similar situation with the Barron Group, which is directly east of this site. There are industrial facilities along Adventure. I'm getting lazy, I'm sorry. Been a long 2 weeks. There are, a lot of industrial businesses along Adventure, but there's also a lot of businesses south of Oakwood. How many of these folks are going to get there via feet and via vehicle? I couldn't tell you. But at least for right now, most of their foot traffic would come from east of the site or south of the site. Along 24, you don't have safety paths along 24 in that area of town to begin with. And then the other remark was regarding safety paths, and then you have one question.
I thought I heard something about the potential traffic light.
So the traffic study recommended one at 24 in Oakwood. Again, that's something that I think ultimately MDOT would have to require, but that's not where they are. It was just a recommendation.
Okay.
I think they're going to require it. We put money in escrow for it already.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, they're going to require it.
I mean, and so to that point, they're required to go get their official approvals from MDOT before they're back for the final site plan. So the final site plan, you'll know what has to or does not have to happen.
Okay. Just because I know, like the young lady mentioned, there's a lot of accidents at that light, not having anything to do with it. But yeah, having a traffic light there, I think would be very beneficial, not just for this, but in general.
It's going to be beneficial for everything, the truck traffic, the traffic in general. And as primarily we want it to be safe, we don't want accidents out there, so that's why we put money in escrow now, because ultimately we're not going to try and have a dangerous spot for people to pull into.
Any last comments, questions? Okay. I guess with that, we'll entertain a motion.
So I move to approve 2022-009 as required for a convenience store and gas station located in the I-1 district based on the following findings of fact as required by section 4.5 and section 5.3 of the Township's zoning ordinance. Number one, the proposed use is compatible with adjacent uses of land and will not negatively impact the surrounding neighborhood. Two, the proposed use is consistent with the intent and purpose of the Township zoning ordinance and the master plan. Three, adequate measures have been proposed to protect the natural environment and public services. Four, the use will not create excessive public costs or be detrimental to the economic welfare of the township. Five, proposed use is compatible with adjacent uses in terms of location, size, and character, and will not negatively impact the surrounding neighborhood. Six, it is consistent with the intent and purpose of the township zoning ordinance and master plan and will enhance the immediate vicinity and the township as a whole. Seven, adequate measures are proposed to protect the natural environment and the use will not place unreasonable demands on public services or create excessive public costs. 8. The use is designed to ensure public health, safety, and welfare with no inverse impacts on traffic or infrastructure.
We have a motion.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Turner,
Yes.
Losick,
Yes.
Dur,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right. I move to approve the preliminary site plan for the Oxford Township gas located on North Pier Road and Oakwood Road, PC file number PC 25-009 for a convenience store and gas location located in the I-1 district, conditioned upon the applicant addressing any deficiencies noted by the township consultants, the township fire department, and the township administration prior to submittal for final site plan approval.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, can we get a roll call on that as well?
Wagner,
Yes.
Dur,
Yes.
Losick,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you very much. One question I didn't ask, and it really doesn't have a lot of bearing. The Red Barn Market, where did that come from? Because years ago, south of Drainer, Red Barn Sub used to have a large barn, convenience store, party store, whatever. So when I first saw the pictures, I'm like,
I think the marketing probably came from that, but there's no affiliation with it.
okay.
Sure.
We have a lot of these stations like around, and we've got a lot like coming on. But the Red Barn Market name itself is no affiliation to the one you're talking about.
I grew
I've
up,
seen it. I know which one you're talking
yeah, I grew up in the subdivision right behind there. We used to ride our bikes up to that, and like,
Yeah. Used to
kind
be
of nostalgic.
Albin's one barn.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You as well. All right, moving on to number 10, unfinished business. I don't believe we have anything. Number 11, new business. Item A, election of officers to be effective 1/1/2026. Do we need?
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Are there any nominations for chairperson?
I'll nominate Corey.
Second that.
Bailey, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I will.
Are there any other nominations?
Nobody.
As there are no other nominations, Commissioner Bailey will serve as chair for 2026 by unanimous consent.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the confidence. move on to vice chair. I believe, Mr. Turner, you are currently.
Yep.
Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate Mr. Turner.
I'll second.
All right. So, Mr. Turner, would you accept that? Now that you've had a
Now that I've had a one meeting opportunity. See, you got your feet wet.
Yeah.
okay. Any other nominations? Seeing none, congratulations, Mr. Turner. You will serve as the vice chair for 2026. Secretary, do we have any nominations?
Who is our current secretary?
I actually would like,
Typically, the responsibilities of the secretary are, if we have correspondence, the secretary would read them.
Okay.
If we get emails or letters, that's their responsibility.
Okay.
and I'm third in line, right? If
Yes.
Corey
Yeah.
Rob is not here.
There we go.
Yes. And if that's something that you would like to continue, we can definitely do the nomination. If not, we have two people that are not here that we can.
Patty should
They
first-
can't,
They can't.
cannot send a
You're not,
nomination.
okay. So my mother is 94, she's having some more health problems than normal, so I might, maybe dealing with some of those things next year. I'm dealing with it now,
Okay.
maybe into next year, but, if there's someone else wants to be secretary, I have no problem with that.
All right, I'll nominate Patty then.
Patty just said she
Patty,
didn't want to. I had to turn to her and ask her if she'd like to.
She said no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
David? You will?
Yes, I'll
I'll
I
nominate
will
then
step
David.
up.
Thank you, David.
Any other nominations? We need a second.
Was there support for that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so since we have no other nominations, and we can't dump on the other two guys, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Hard fought.
So then moving on to committee appointments, we have the Economic Development Committee, which I don't believe we have any nominations this year, nor have we had a need for them. My suggestion would be to leave it the way it is for now. Do we have a need for that right now, Susan?
No, except if you could do the meeting calendar first. Before you get into your appointments, if that's all right with you.
Would we need to amend the agenda?
Well, technically, I guess we didn't say where we were gonna put it.
It's listed to C.
I don't think I have the, okay, that's fine. I don't think I have the revised agenda in front of me. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Because last year you didn't make any appointments for that committee.
Not for the economic, so if we just leave it the way it is. And then for the ordinance review, Mr. Turner, Mr. Wagner, all would like to stay in those roles. I mean, unless there's any discussion to say otherwise, can we just leave those the way they are? And I believe I was on as the alternate if one of the three were able to, or not able to attend.
Yeah, if they're not gonna fight on it, because it's Commissioner Turner, Commissioner Wagner, and Commissioner Durr.
Yep. And it seems to be working really well, in my opinion. So, and they're getting a lot of good work done. So, if we can leave it the way it is, I prefer. Zoning Board of Appeals, currently I'm the liaison. Does anybody else want to do that? I'm happy to stay there unless somebody has a burning desire. I think they meet twice a year.
Very good. You will have one coming up, though.
Yeah, that should be exciting.
ZBA
Yep.
meeting in 2026.
So it's okay. Seeing nobody jumping at that, we'll leave me as the liaison. And then the gravel inspection. Were you on?
I was,
Ms. Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Blankenship.
Okay.
let's continue that if there's no
Okay, then let's just leave things the way they are. With the current appointments. Okay, with that, we can move to C, the approval of the calendar. Did everybody have a chance to review that, or are there any concerns, or can we make a motion to accept the calendar as presented?
Motion to approve the calendar.
Bless you. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, what was that? The calendar is approved as presented. And I believe any committee reports or anything, have you had a ORC meeting since the last meeting?
We had an ORC meeting today
Okay.
and talked about several things that some of which we're looking at a little longer range, maybe midsummer or not, especially related to changing the zoning ordinances for different areas.
Ones that will prevent the need for appeal meetings, or
Well, first of all, for an area where something needs to happen now so that somebody can go ahead with a project, those we will address right away.
okay.
But for comparing the master plan and the future plan for the zoning map, we thought we would pick up things as they come along, and then midsummer, we'd see what we had to do to implement that, plus anything else that we see might be needed.
Yeah, just to build on Commissioner Turner's comments, we started drafting mixed use language, so we looked at that for the first time today. There's some tweaks to be made, some technicalities to figure out. We also discussed, and that is a reaction to the master plan, future land use map. Another one is taking a look at the office district as it is now. That district for a long time, I don't want to call it, it has been a problem. It's just not evolving with the times for COVID and things of that nature. So it's worth taking a look at the uses associated or allowed in the office and see what changes need to be made there to free up both businesses that are there or businesses that might like to utilize those properties. Those are kind of the two, that along with the zoning map maintenance, which follows any master plan update, are kind of the big three that we'll probably be working on through quarter one, quarter two of next year, and then you'll probably see a new work plan being put in front of you sometime in probably April or June. That will then go on the board kind of like we did in the past.
Thank you very much. Any final reports or information? I know we got your stuff in your packet.
Yeah, if I can just update that a little bit too.
Please.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing that, by the way. That is,
I hope you read it. I mean,
I
it is
do read it.
informative.
We do.
The township is, I believe, posting it on the website, or supposed to be. The one that I saw on there today is still from October, so they're not as diligent as I was hoping, but not that people are in the community are gonna be scrolling around looking for it, but it is there, you know, and just kind of keeps everybody up to speed on what's going on. So, you know, as you know, this past year, you guys have approved several projects, and all of a sudden, they're all just coming in, like, for construction to begin right now. So the first one on there is Wellbridge. They have all their permits in place, they're ready to go. We're We're probably gonna have a pre-construction meeting on that, and they'll break ground, I'm guessing in January, is what, January, February possibly. Sanctuary Hills, on this one, the last item said no infrastructure construction. Or the infrastructure construction has no estimated start date. Well, we just had a pre-construction meeting with them, and they're gonna start moving some dirt, over there after the first of the year as well on the sanctuary project. The villages and peninsula of Tullamore, all the earth balancing has been done out there. Again, we are gonna have a pre-construction meeting on January 13th, and shortly after that, so the end of January, early February, all the infrastructure is gonna start going in. The township board last night approved the residential, was it PUD agreement, or
The open space agreement.
open space agreement for the Tullamore project that you had approved the previous month. Barron, again, we had a pre-construction meeting with them, and then they immediately came back in with some revisions to the stormwater, so they're working on some things, but, I think that's gonna be happening pretty soon. And you got Red Barn Gas, they were here tonight, and then Aldi as well. You approved that preliminary site plan, and they're in for their engineering review right now. We just gave them their first set of comments, so for whatever reason, everybody kinda held on, and it seems like the beginning of the year is gonna be really busy as far as construction activity goes in the community for both some residential and commercial developments that you guys have approved through, during 2025. So,
Very nice.
yeah. Anything else? Any questions?
Thank you very much. Again, I appreciate you putting the details in the package.
Try to keep it short and simple in there if I can.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, I will take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, Bob. Aye.
We are adjourned.
Me done.